Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be. Thank you for stopping by here at Coded Live. How is Maui going? Well, Maui is going well. That's your new car? No, it's not. But I am into EVs. But yeah, let's talk about Maui in particular and what's coming up. And I want to tinker a little bit with some stuff that I think is going to be useful because I have been asked a few times. Oh, and that is actually my good friend. Sorry, I didn't see who it was. This is my good friend Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Good to see you. Actually, it is actually. This is Iron Man's e-tron GT, now widely available, and you get the big federal tax discount, so it's not as expensive as you think. Yeah, it is fun. EVs can be a lot of fun while we are being a little sustainable for our planet Earth. Okay, let's get some music going, and then we'll talk. Let's see. All right, this should be fine. I think it's the chill station. Maybe I'll lower the volume a little bit. All right. Yeah, so Food Schnabel, you asked about Maui. We have had, let's see, where's my browser? All right. We have had two service releases since .NET MAUI officially shipped. So right now, these are the talks. I think we're at SR2, which is Service Pack 2. And I think Service Pack 3 is expected soon. But the big thing that's coming up next week is actually this thing called dotnetconf. So dotnetconf has become kind of the place where we get .NET news and announcements. The big one is always in November. That kind of coincides with the .NET launch every year. So .NET 6 came out last year. There'll be .NET 7 this year, but in between the big .NET releases, they do focus events where they focus on, parts of .NET stack and just kind of do a little deep dive. This one I am super excited about. It's coming up. This one is focusing on .NET MAUI, and all the usual suspects are there. So that's going to be on an all-day stream coming up next Tuesday. A lot of us will actually be live from Redmond, which is great. Always great to be on Microsoft campus. Ed is here, my good friend. I am going to need you today as I stumble through things. It is not my light-time filter. I am just yellow. No, it's just how my feed works somehow. So when I'm sharing my desktop through a sound card, it is always a little yellowish. Yeah. Good day, Mr. Blazor, Mr. McGee. Good to see you as well. Yeah. But hopefully you can see and read things on screen. I've tried fixing it, but the yellow tinge doesn't. I mean, I can bump up the contrast like way high, then it becomes hard to read. So I'll deal with a little bit of yellow. Anyways, so this is coming up next week. Solid agenda with a lot of the folks that and hear about talking about .NET MAUI, David, Maddie, Gerald. I'm in there somewhere. Dan Roth, Mads, and Jeremy. So it's going to be a lot of fun next Tuesday. So we're looking forward to that. No, it's actually good to have Ed and Blazor, Mr. Magoo here for some Maui Wowie. Well, you'll see me struggle because I'm actually leaning more on the Blazor side today than Maui, and I don't know all the things about Blazor. I was looking up some things last night, but I'll see what else I can do. Okay. So let's open up a Maui project, and then I want to tackle something that I think Ed and me get asked a lot. So let's start off, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's bump up my fonts here. Let's see if I go into here. Most of my Maui stuff is here. Let's open up any Blazor project. Let's do this one because I'm going to copy some code over from here that I'm going to need. Let's do code dot, pull up VS Code. Binary Chef Maui is what inspired me to finally start learning. All right, good to know. Blazor. All right. That's what we're doing, Maui with Blazor. I will be honest, like there are some things that are still in the works tooling wise, but things are coming along. We can get around most of the stumbling blocks. Okay, so if you have never seen Maui and Blazor together, it is a good story. So here is a .NET MAUI project with Blazor. And the way you can get it is either in Visual Studio or through command line. If I do, I think, a .NET new, list. So you get all these templates, and this is the one that I'm using, .NET MAUI Blazor app. So Maui Blazor is the shortcut, and that's what gets us a project like this, which is nice. It's all Maui, so you see program.cs kind of wire up how Maui uses the generic host, and it bootstraps the app, gives it all of the dependency injection things that it needs. CSproj is nice and clean now. You get to main page.xaml. We have that giant Blazor web view that's rendering all types of Blazor things, and that's about all the XAML you want to see. Beyond that, you're essentially pointing it to the main Razor file, which loads up the index.html, and your Blazor app is up and running. Now, while this is nice, like all of your pages, your Blazor Razor views kind of live here, and you always have the, the ability to go down to the platform level and do things on a per platform level if you wanted to. And then this is where the shared resources live. This is how, Blazor apps work. The Razor views, the CSS, all of that is right there. So I think this is nice, and you can do very native things with Blazor. I think this project kind of does. Let me see which one it is. Yeah, so like this is a Blazor view, index.razor view that I'm showing you. And right up here, like I don't even need the Maui essentials anymore. I can dive straight into some of the .NET MAUI APIs like device info, device orientation. I can get all of that, which is really nice. And then if you need more things, let me see if music is on. I think we're still good. Stream quality wise, so this is nice, and then some things you might need to add extra permissions into your Android or your iOS project if you're doing things like here I was doing launching in the camera app and going into the photo library, so those need extra permissions, but it's nice that you can do a lot of these things right from Blazor itself. In fact, I'm going to actually need these 2 lines of code, which I'm going to copy for later. So it's main display info. Let me copy something. So this is my cheat sheet for some of the commands. So device display, I'm going to need that API, and then the height, obviously, width and height. So we can read the device's screen resolution anytime. So I think this is nice, but I don't think this is particularly realistic, and we don't have a Visual Studio template that does this for you. For folks who are going to want to do Blazor with .NET MAUI, I don't think people are actually going to start a .NET MAUI project and then start building Blazor inside of it. This is more for the folks who are already doing Blazor, right? That's the sell. Like you can now do Blazor for web, but you can also share the code for native platforms like desktop and mobile. So more than likely, you already have a Blazor project that you have been working on that is for the web, and now you have .NET MAUI trying to come in and saying, I can render Blazor stuff. I have a giant web view. So the question is, how do you mix and match? How do you have things that are shared? Because you don't want to keep copying things over. Like if you have a team that's working on Blazor, you don't want to keep copying their Razor pages into your .NET MAUI app. You want them to be drawn from the same place. So we don't have a Visual Studio project or template that does it, but it's fairly easy to bring it together. I was looking up a few blog posts, and let me show you what I was trying to do. So I'm going to keep VS Code open and then maybe look at VS for Mac here. Yeah, Binary Chef, Blazor, Mr. Magoo, let me know anything cool you're doing with Blazor of late, because I'm not strong on the Blazor side of things. I tinker. I'm just enough to be dangerous. All right, so this is what I was playing around with, and it's fairly simple. So let's collapse everything here first so I can show you. So let's see if zooming will work. Yes. Okay. So this is a Visual Studio solution, right? But we have added a few things into it so we can keep things in one place and we can truly share code and have Blazor work everywhere. So this is, it says Blazor everywhere conveniently. That is one solution. And then inside of it, I have multiple projects. So this, and this is pretty much Blazor standard project. So if I did file, new project, let's see, I might have to zoom out a little bit. Web, if I do an app like Blazor WebAssembly, that's what I'm using, right? You can also do Blazor server side here because essentially we want to pull the Blazor, the Razor pages out of it. But I chose to use the Blazor WebAssembly project here, which also gives you an ASP.NET shared hosting. So you can host a server side, which is not doing server side rendering of any HTML. It's just really your API backend. Blazor is you're saying working on a new. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. Let's see if I can read your comment. New virtualized component that handles items of varying size and works in 2D, not just vertical. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know some of you do some really nice NuGet packages. I actually stumbled upon something that Ed had written a few months back. I might use that, or I might actually go straight up JavaScript and see if I can make it work. So yeah, good to know. Good to know what you're doing. Anyway, so I have started with the Blazor WebAssembly app, and the idea is this is what you would normally do if you are doing a straight up web app. I've just named it Blazor for Web. And so I have my Blazor server-side project, which actually doesn't have any pages. It's just meant to have controllers. The weather thing, it just pulls from that weather forecast controller, and that's about it. Then anything that is shared between the client and the server here, that goes into the web.shared thing. I think this one has like some of the dependencies, nothing else really here. And then the web client, this is the WebAssembly side project. Chat room, Foolish Number saying, is it decided that MAUI apps will essentially be Blazor hosted in a web view? Yes, pretty much. Is it Blazor Web Wasm or Blazor Server? Okay, so this is an interesting question. Let's see. So when you run things in .NET MAUI, right? It is a native app. It's running either on desktop or on mobile. There is no server, there is no client. You are literally on the very device that you want to be on. So, I mean, it's not really WASM. There is no WASM involved. Because like there is no, WebAssembly DLLs that are being, loaded up. Neither is it entirely server side because like you are literally on the device. So we are using the Blazor engine to essentially render the Blazor components and HTML and JavaScript, right? So I think it's kind of a mix, but for all purposes, it is kind of like the code looks very much like Blazor server side, but it's not really server because you're on the client anyway. So it's a mix, and here actually I am using WebAssembly, although when I run it client side, there is no WebAssembly. Yeah, exactly. So to Ed's point, this is what is nice. So Blazor and .NET MAUI run on the same exact runtime, right? And it is .NET 6, .NET 7, so it can actually use some of the power of your local machine or your mobile device to get on with the rendering, and that's why it's so much easier to share code. We have done streams where we like to bring in Angular or React and make that work with .NET MAUI. While it's nice, it's just nowhere as close to as nice as Blazor because it is running on the same runtime. So yeah. What I have here though is a WebAssembly project, not to use WebAssembly on the .NET side of things, but just to have the web client. So I think this is the reality for most web projects where you already have Blazor for the web. But then I have added two more things to this project. One is a Blazor for native, which is named so that it is Blazor for native. So this one here is a .NET MAUI project, and this is the exact Blazor MAUI template that I showed you with .NET MAUI. So this one has all of the usual stuff, but there are some changes that I've made that I'll show you. But this is the Blazor with MAUI project. And then I have added one more project here, which is the shared UI. All right, and this is where, if you look at the Blazor project, right, the Blazor client-side project, normally Blazor projects have a pages directory, and they also have the shared directory. Those are the things that you are rendering your components from, but I have moved them off because again that's the way to go, because MAUI has the same exact things. Like MAUI, if I go look at the other project, this was just straight up Blazor with MAUI. This one, you'll notice, has the pages, it has the shared right here. So if you're using Blazor with an existing web app and now trying to bring it over to MAUI, you don't want to have this in two places. You want to have it shared in one place, right? So this pages and the shared, maybe some stuff out of www, that's the one you want to bring out and have it in a separate project. That makes sense. What I'm doing here is, in this shared repo is where I have the pages and I have the shared, right? So this is stuff that both my Blazor WebAssembly and my .NET MAUI is going to use, but I just don't have them in separate folders or separate projects. It's from a shared place. Okay. Oh, thanks. Ed looks like he's answering questions here. I should have really had Ed co-host this, but I like my. I'm on OBS today, so it's going through the the full setup, which I like. Embedded browser like Electron does. Yeah. Let's see. Let's read some of this. So it is the browser process, the web view. It is a Chromium process, but it is it is started up by the .NET app. So yeah, it is. Let's see. It is like Electron in a way, but the big differences are you are not running on Node.js, right? So, and you're not shipping a version of the Chromium, web engine with your app. It is literally a web view. So you're trusting the client, be it desktop or mobile, to have a modern, greenfield browser. Exactly. The web browser varies by platform. Yeah. Yes, full Schnabel. It is using, well, not exactly Safari, but the Safari web view. It's called the WK web view. So like this, I'm zoomed in. So this, essentially this web view stuff that you saw me do, where was that? Mainprogram.cs. No, it's mainpage.xaml. So this web view that you see, this is an abstraction essentially, right? So it realizes that you are inside of a .NET MAUI app and you need a web view. It's going to figure out, are you on iOS, are you on Android, are you on Windows or Mac, and then give you the corresponding web view for the browser that is the system browser. So yeah. No, you cannot run Linux, but there is a Linux distro out there, and again, Microsoft also has to care about engineering dollars, because it's not cheap. So if I look at .NET MAUI supported platforms here, this is what's given: Android, iOS, Mac, and Windows, right? But then you see Tizen, yeah. So you can actually run .NET MAUI apps on Tizen, which is all of your Samsung TVs and your refrigerators, because why not? And then Linux, there's a distro for .NET MAUI running on Linux. It is not officially supported yet. Maybe sometime soon. Yeah, links would be interesting. I was in Alaska, which was a bucket list of ours, and we saw a lynx, which is like a small, wildcat type creature, which is cute, but it can get ferocious if you mess with it. So not lynx. Yeah, it is a big cat. It's not a small cat. It has like the pointy ears. almost a line, yes. If you live in like western parts of North America, you're actually a little scared of links. Atari console. Okay, all right. I think we're on the same page. It's using a web view. Now, back to my project. So what I'm doing here is, can I make this any bigger? Yeah, there you go. So this Blazor shared UI is literally a Razor class library, right? So if I do file new project, that's you can see some of the templates I've used recently. That's what I'm using. It literally is a class library. It doesn't compile into an executable or anything like that. It is just meant to have some placeholders so I can keep my Razor files in there, right? So what I've done here is I have a pages and I have a shared, and that's exactly the stuff that you see in the Blazor project and as well as in the .NET MAUI project. Is just copied over. But this is the code that I had to write, and again I looked up a few things. It's not the cleanest code, but it's fine, I suppose. Let's see if I can bump up my fonts here. Can I? There we go. So first up, both the MAUI project and the Blazor project, they reference this guy, right? They have to. So if you look at my dependencies, let's go. So I have NuGet package dependencies, which is all of the ASP.NET stuff. And then in my projects, I am referencing the shared here, which is the Blazor shared project, and also the shared UI project. And I actually have a little bit more things in the UI project than just UI, but it's just called shared UI. So this is being referenced, and so is the native MAUI project. Interesting, it's not showing the dependencies like that, but it is for sure referenced. Let's go to reference here. Yep, it is referenced here, the Blazor shared UI. For some reason, the .NET MAUI tooling in Visual Studio doesn't show you that, but it is referenced. So with that, let's see what are some things we had to do to get this to be working. So in the web client, let's see, I don't have everything working yet. This is, I think, the imports.razor file. So in addition to the Blazor stuff, I'm bringing in these two usings. And then in my app Razor, this is the part which is, maybe just a little fudgy. So essentially, Blazor, when it's going to bootstrap the project, it is going to look for, oh, Ed is saying, why not share? Because I had issues. I will try to rework that. The weather forecast service is just done a little differently between Blazor and .NET MAUI. I think .NET MAUI uses just a, it doesn't have a server, so it just uses a straight up, class, while the Blazor one tries to do an HTTP lookup based on the server backend. So it's just different. Sure, it will work, but I just, had issues, so I, took it out for the time being. So yes. You should be sharing logic as well, not just the UI. Here's the one link in here. So in my app.razor, I am referencing the shared thing, and then by default it tries to look for the stuff that's built in. It's going to go into this www.root, and then the index.html is going to say go load up your Blazor components, and it's not going to find any of the components because they're not there, because they have now moved off to a different project. So again, I looked up a few people doing this, and you just have to say point it to the different assembly. The Blazor project is referencing the shared UI, but then you have to kind of explicitly say go find that particular component, and you can start with any component here, like the counter or anything, but this one, main layout, is what kind of holds everything else together in Blazor. So you just have to point it to that. And I don't know why it needs to have an array of assemblies. I'm just giving it one assembly, but apparently that's what it needs to be fed, like an assembly of an array of assemblies. So that's what I'm giving it. You're telling it to find the routes. Yes, sir. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just pointing it to say, go find your main layout, not in your Blazor project, but go find it right here, which is the shared layout, right? So I'm just pointing it to that to say, go get your stuff from there. So with that, I can keep all of my pages and all of my, shared components and resources all in that shared repo. So let's run this, and let's see, what else did I change. No, nothing else here. Oh, nav menu, I took out the weather forecast for the time being. What is that saying? You're pointing it to the Blazor shared UI, not main layout. Yeah. That's what I meant. So I'm pointing it to the Blazor shared UI assembly. And I think like, I don't know what the hookup is. Like, why am I saying main layout here when like the routing takes the main layout? Because like by default, it just points to this assembly. I don't know why we have to say main layout here, but you're essentially pointing to the shared UI library, and then it needs to find a component to grab and load up in your Blazor app. Okay, so with that, I think we should be ready to run this. And I have been tinkering with this project. Some things are a little messed up, so it's not always launching the way it is. Yeah, it's not launching in my browser, but it is running. You can see it. It's running on localhost 5001 or 5000. So let's go localhost 5000. Yep. All right. So Ed is still talking. The assembly property gets the assembly name. Yeah, that's what I thought, Ed. The assembly property here, additional assemblies, we're literally pointing it to additional assemblies, but why am I having to mention main layout? Anyways, could be a syntactical thing that I don't understand, but you get the idea. We are pointing to an assembly, and then we are giving it a default layout, which is the main layout. And this main layout part, it's not going to understand what it is until you actually bring in this using statement. The main layout is just a class in the assembly. Okay. No, I didn't know like these things get, you know, I suppose every component is a class, right? You can use any class, it doesn't have to be the component. Okay, all right, good to know. All right, so with that, I have my Blazor app that is, you know, no surprise, hello world template, nothing's different about it, but now it does say Blazor everywhere, and it's pulling this main layout, and all of the components inside of it are from that shared project, right? But otherwise, it's just a straight up Blazor app. Now, this Blazor everywhere, the reason it's saying that is because in my shared thing, let's look at main razor. Now, where was that? Main nav menu. It just says Blazor everywhere here. So every other project that uses the shared repo is going to pick this up and say Blazor everywhere. That's all it does. And then the server prompt is right here, and then index.razor is what it's rendering right here. Right, so this is all the standard stuff. Now I was adding a little bit more to this, which I'll show you in a second. But let's also run the Maui project, right? So let's go to our terminal here. Again, running the Maui project from Visual Studio seems because like it's getting confused with the hot reload. So hot reload works really nicely when you just are on .NET MAUI and doing the UI or code changes, running it on your simulators, or hot reload for Blazor. But here's a solution which has both Blazor and MAUI, and it's getting a little confused trying to do the hot reload. So I'm going to launch the MAUI project from command line here. All right, where am I? So let's go to projects. Let's go to, what did I call it? Blazor, where? Yep, and then inside of it I need to go to the Blazor for native, which is a really bad name, but now we're inside the .NET MAUI project, and now I can do my my Mac .NET MAUI builds. Let's do Mac Catalyst, okay? So now it's building up .NET MAUI from the exact same code base. Oh, Ed is brutal here. It works on my machine sometimes, right? Yeah, no, hot reload works. Hot reload works. Don't let Ed tell you otherwise. It works, just sometimes. Okay. So here's my .NET Maui project, right? And for some reason it's scrolled up a little bit. You can kind of see that Blazor everywhere on the top, but then if I let go of my mouse, it scrolls down. And the counter is here, which is great. But it's actually now telling you where it's running on, which is nice. Can I zoom in? There you go. It's saying, hey, I'm running on Mac Catalyst, by the way, which is nice. After the goat sacrifice. Okay, so this is good. This is good. But here's the advantage of doing this, okay? If I go into anything that is shared, what is that noise? Oh, it's just music. Why am I getting Christmas music in the middle of August? I don't know. It's like a chill station. Let me know, folks, if the music is too loud or if you need a change of station. I will happily do that. All right, so let's just say instead of world, let's just say hello.net, right? And I'm doing this on a shared, Razor page, right? And the advantage of having it in there is I can, change things up. And then there is also in our www root, there is also our CSS work, right? So now you can consider sharing. You hear no music. Oh, that is bad. Why do you hear no music? That is bad. Hold on for a second. Oh, I see. I'm sorry. It's just pointing to a different audio driver. Now do you hear music? No. One sec, folks. Luke. Oh, geez. You folks are hilarious. Where is... Okay, now do you hear music? I think you should. You're just using a different driver. These... You folks are being brutal here on the hot reload. It is Luke. Sometimes... that's funny. Yeah, so there is this thing. This is a term, okay? It's called a rude edit. So you have to be gentle. You have to be kind, okay? Do not make rude edits. It should pick up. Actually, if I was doing a straight up .NET MAUI app, the rude edits that Marcus Voice is talking about are your sometimes your C# class libraries, which are already loaded up in memory, and now you're trying to mess with it. So yeah, it sometimes picks up, but sometimes it doesn't. It's a hard problem to solve, right? But we're getting there. Do I need to write please every time? You need to write please every time. Yes. It's funny. Okay. Now I hope you can hear some music. Anyway, so now I can change my index.razor page. And now here's the thing that I think Ed was trying to teach me one time is how do we reference the CSS? So let's look at the Blazor index HTML. Okay. And again, all of you Blazor folks will laugh at me because I don't know how any of this works, but here's our Blazor index HTML file. This is where, this is the div tag that's loading up our entire app. But before we get to it, this is the WebAssembly.js. Before we get to it, we have some style sheets, right? And apparently it needs to be pointed to this thing called _content, which if you reference a CSS, because normally the CSS lives right in your www root, right? So you can just say CSS, but apparently you have to say _content, which I don't understand why you have to say that, but apparently that's how you point it to any other content that is not in your www root. So this is the way to, so there are a couple of, little, hackish things in here, which I hope eventually they will have a Visual Studio template that'll fix all of it. But right now there's nothing stopping you from doing this essentially. So now I can point to the Blazor shared UI and then the CSS inside of it, and then it picks up all the CSS tricks, which is nice. So here is our bootstrap stuff, which we don't want to touch. Here's our app.css, right? So this is now a shared CSS between Blazor running on web and Blazor running on .NET MAUI. So we can do things in here. What can we change? This is all error stuff. Content, that's padding. Well, there's a button here. I think this is the button for the button, the style for the button, I think. The button for the button, that didn't make sense. Okay, no, how do I comment this? Oh, there you go. Can I do, yeah, background color is what I'm looking at. Well, there it is. Azure, yeah. Okay, I think. So if I make a change in CSS, it should technically now be able to pick it up, both places. Okay, so now I have to read comments because Ed is dropping knowledge bombs here. Let's see. When you use the Razor class library, the www root folder of the RCL becomes _content. Is this documented somewhere? Because I didn't know that. Thank you, Ed. Yeah, I don't do CSS. I don't do CSS. I'm amazed at what people are able to pull off with CSS. Like, I know some folks, who do a lot of web stuff with just pure CSS, and I'm mind blown. Because, like, I would rather actually do JavaScript, as bad as it sounds, but CSS is hard if you don't know what you're doing, especially if you get to some of the advanced, like, rendering and the libraries and all that good stuff. So yeah, it is documented apparently. I just did not know. So thank you, Ed. So now that I'm pointing to that, oh, actually, hang on. Is my .NET MAUI app pointed to that same thing? The .NET MAUI app is here. It's using a Blazor web view. It doesn't have anything. Oh, it has index.html. Yes. So I did actually make that change. This _content thing, I'm making that change in both the Blazor app and the Blazor with .NET MAUI app. So thankfully now it should read. Yeah, so this is the fun part. So I don't do CSS, and apparently, hold on. Why is there a moderation issue? Oh, Ed, anyways. What are you saying, Ed, that is not friendly? It doesn't make sense. Why can't I read or highlight your message? Anyways, so Ed doesn't do XAML and I don't do CSS, so it'll be fun if either of us were forced to do shows where we are writing CSS or XAML. Yeah. Okay, so it is now referenced in both places, right? So now let's run this. So let's go in here and start. Remember, we are not running in debug, so we don't have the Luke reload either. We are literally just refreshing that page, and counter that did not pick up. Maybe it needs to, maybe it's cached, right? It has not picked up at all. Okay, all right. I have to blow the cache away maybe, because that is cached. Okay, let's do a build. I'm going to build the shared UI, and I'm going to build this one, and in our cache, hang on. Wait, how do I only pretend I know either? Wait, did Chrome move my cheese? Wasn't there something here on the Chrome tab to do a hard refresh? No. All right. You don't want to see my history, do you? Okay, Chrome history, clear browsing data. No, just the last hour would do. Cached images, blow away. Okay, now it's gone. Did they really move that thing, like, for us to do a hard refresh? Okay, so we have changed a little bit of CSS here, right? We have changed the background color. Maybe Azure is just too close. It wasn't like green. Yeah. All right. And now if I run this, it should pick up. The refresh is there, but the dev tools are open. Oh, I see. I see. See, I'm not a web developer, so I don't know these tricks, which I should. All right, counter, there you go. So now we have a green button. Now, oh, it's only on, the hover still is there. That's a different style. Now here is the advantage though. So we changed that, and we changed that, oh, we now said hello.net instead of the hello world, right? And now the advantage is now I can run this thing back up on Mac, and it should pick up the same, you know, Razor components. You know CSS. I don't know CSS. All right, so now it says hello.net, and then the counter component is green, which is nice, right? So we are literally sharing code between Blazor for the web and Blazor for native, right? And I think this is more of a reality for, you know, folks or enterprises who have been doing Blazor for, you know, the last 3-4 years, and now you see .NET MAUI come along, and you have a way of bringing that Blazor goodness into your native apps. So all you have to do is move things around a little bit. Let me close this. You have to move things around and get stuff out of your Blazor project into a shared repo, and then let. I mean, there are other ways in which you can do this. I think like you can have your stuff inside of your Blazor project, and then Visual Studio has that thing about, you know, sharing the file where it's not really in the same project, but I think you might run into some issues. I think this is cleaner and much more dependable, because then all of your UI and shared logic can just, you know, stay in one place. So that's better. Now, one other thing I was trying to do, let's see, chat room, if I tried styling a button in XAML, well, guess what, Ed? You can actually use CSS. Something is going on with my moderation, or my chat highlighting app. Let me give that a refresh, see if it picks up. Yeah, I think now it's back. So I should be able to start highlighting messages again. I just don't see the latest one. So you can actually style XAML with CSS. It's not for everybody, and very few people actually do it, but XAML is essentially styled with XAML styles, which is all, you know, .NET resources, and I can show you where that lives. So if you look at any .NET MAUI project, I think it's in where did they stick that in now? Shared. No, this is a Blazor project. I think they do that on regular .NET projects or .NET MAUI projects, because there's a styling thing now. Resources, app icons. Do they not have the styling here? No, apparently not. Properties, no. So in your .NET MAUI projects, like, there is a XAML file. Essentially, it's a resource that you're loading up in memory. That's all of your styling, and now you can point it to CSS and, you know, style your XAML. That's what XAML looks like. Button bind symbol for oh, that's funny. It is a little verbose, but it's XML, people. It's just kind of like HTML, but with some special meanings. Things have special meanings when it comes to bindings, and there are nuclear launch codes apparently in there. So yeah. Now here's the other thing I was trying to do, and I haven't quite gotten as far. So that is, what if you wanted to tap into some of the .NET MAUI specific things while you're in Blazor? So in here, what I have is a thing called shared services, which is more of an interface, right? So I have a thing called platform info, where I'm trying to get as to what platform you are running on right now, right? Literally, Blazor, on which platform are you running on right now? It's an interface. And then in my Blazor project, there is actually an implementation of this, right? So platform info, it's implementing this. I should really say browser, because it is running on a browser, not just on a web. Okay, so if you're running Blazor straight up on a web, it's just going to say, hey, I'm running on a browser. But if you do that same thing on .NET MAUI, now we have the option of actually reading where you're running this on, right? So if I go into services and platform info, now I can say device info. Look how nice, because when I do have to use the shared services here because it's referencing that platform info, now I can read where you're running this on, right? Which is really nice. So check this out. I can run that same app. Let's see, clear this out, and no, I don't want Mac Catalyst. That we already saw. Can I have an iOS build? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I've actually never run this on iOS, so let's see if it'll work. So we are running the same exact .NET MAUI project with Blazor now on iOS. iPad Air comes up because that's my default simulator. Come on, it's a cold start. Takes a second. And this is where I was copying that width and height thing. I do want to pull out what exactly the device dimensions are, or the width of the Blazor window is from my app. All right, so here it is. Look at that, it is working. So here is hello.net, same exact shared Blazor code, now running on iOS. It'll be the same on Android, right? Now it says, hey, iOS. And let's look at the counter view. Now it is green, yay. So shared styles, shared Blazor, Razor components between Mac desktop or desktop, mobile, and web, which is nice. So you can see how nice it is for me to at any time be able to step into native stuff because I'm running on .NET MAUI now. So the other thing I want to do is now get to like how much resolution do I have. So let's actually go into the let's go into the interface, this one. Right, so here let's do one more thing. Oh, hey, Aaron is here. Yeah, it is nice. It is really nice. Good to see you, Aaron, by the way. And some of us will get to see each other in person in about 2 weeks. I think we have Codepalooza coming up, which is in Ed's hometown, Louisville. It is weird to see .NET running on Android and iOS, but that's how things have been with Xamarin Forms and .NET MAUI. It is literally a .NET app running inside iOS, but there is something to be said about that wow factor. And now, .NET MAUI started with very much of a mobile-first mindset, but now it's very much welcome on desktop as well. But it is a good cross-platform story. Every time we developers hear this thing about write once and run it everywhere, we're like, yeah, it doesn't work. But this is probably as close as a starting point we will get, and then you get to customize everything that you want for each platform. It should be a .NET logo eating apple. You can make that logo. The splash screen is just right here somewhere. In .NET MAUI, shared resources, excuse me, that's the splash screen, that's the SVG. So you can make .NET eating apple, why not? Okay, so let's do string is fine. Let's call it window size. Okay, so now this will be markedly different between Blazor and .NET MAUI, but we'll figure it out. Get window size. Let's go into our .NET MAUI project, which is this one here. And yes, I know I'm not showing you that yet, or I don't have an implementation for it. Let's see, get, oh, what did I say? Where is my thing? It's called get window size. Yeah. And this one I am in that project, right? Okay, get window size, right? And Oops, there you go. So on .NET MAUI, this is not a problem at all. We can, well, actually, let's do a var, and this is where I can copy the thing that I was copying before. I need these two. So device display, easy peasy. That's an int, and then I can actually just call it an int. And there's an int for the height, which is device display dot main display info dot height. Okay, easy. So now we can do a return. Well, how do we do a string concat? Let's see, window size equals wait, it is a string, right? Width plus we'll say, you know, that times plus height, and then return the window size. Okay, will that work? Why is it giving me a squiggly here? Cannot. Oh, it's a double. Okay, I don't care. Give me a double. All right. So if you're running this on .NET MAUI, we don't even need to go into Blazor. We can just say device display, give us the width and height. We need to show this somewhere. So where is our index.razor? We did this. Now I'm in Blazor land here, right? So I can do web stuff. I can do a break right here. Oh, it doesn't actually like that. Oh, I see. That. All right. One line is saying with, yeah, see, you folks are smart. I'm not a smart developer. I cannot concat in one line. Why a double? Is there such a thing as 0.5 pixel? It is a double because I don't know, like screen dimensions can be weird, especially when you get to Android. You are looking at a lot of different pixel sizes. I love watching .NET streams. Hey, one line. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yep, there is. Yeah, I don't know if there are like any 0.5s anywhere for any Android sizes, but who knows? You go to a Walmart and you buy an Android device that's 5 years old. Who knows about the resolution? They might have a point somewhere. All right. So we could say window dimensions. Right, so we can, now this is already referencing that other project, so we can do platform info. And I also don't like this syntax exactly, but the question mark dot feels weird. Get window size, right? And that is a method, and that is all that I should have to do. So the Blazor project is not going to build yet because it doesn't have it yet, but let's see if I can build this. The shared project does build, all right. And then does the native project build without the Blazor project? It's trying. I should have done a build from my CLI as well. Yeah, you can't make half a pixel. Yes, so I don't know why it's double. Okay, so the native build did work. So can I now do an iOS build? Or is it going to fail gloriously? Quantum pixels. But this is just so much nicer when you are native, because Blazor, to get the window size, you have to jump through a few hoops. And Ed has actually made that jump a little easier for us, but I want to do it the hard way. Why do things easy, right? Oh, look at that, look at that. Well, my breakpoint or my B didn't really work, but we are on platform iOS and window dimensions are 1640 by 2360. That is literally the iPad Air's resolutions. Yay! Yay! Okay, we are good there, but this kind of looks bad. Why did it not give me a break? How about that? Just give me the next line, would you? And then I should not have to do any more builds on that. Let's run this on a Mac and let's see what it says. Because now it's going to read the desktop dimensions. Yeah, look at that, 3840 by 2160. Now I do not have this on like on the screen load, so if you did, because like it's literally just rendering only once you read it, but when we resize this, you should be able to see that change, the window dimensions change, especially on desktop. Oh, BR, okay, yeah, see. Geez, what would I do without you folks? I've been saying break, but then I'm just typing one break, or just typing B. Okay, so this works. B is bold, isn't it? Yeah, and I wasn't trying to do a bold. I was trying to do a break. Okay, so this works on native, right? But Blazor is a whole other story, because apparently Blazor is, it's a rendering engine. It knows how to render Razor, but it does not, talk to JavaScript by default, right? So here's what I was looking up last night. There's some help here. So I don't know who runs this, but there's this thing called Blazor tips, and it's fairly easy. Like, it's a JavaScript interop. So all we have to do is, let Blazor have that the IJS JavaScript interop, and then you can go talk to JavaScript and say, hey, give me the window size, will you? And that's exactly what you need, the window inner width and window inner height, and then you can have this displayed inside of Blazor, right? And then Ed has also made this, I found, which I don't want to use this from .NET. I actually do want to do the JavaScript, but Ed, let me know what you think of this. But Ed has a Blazor size thing, which is a NuGet package, and then if you use any of our Telerik stuff, I think that's included in there as well. So let's go to Telerik UI for Blazor. I don't know exactly how to look this up, but we have media queries. I'll tell you exactly, so you don't have to go talk to JavaScript. Where is that, Ed? Is it media query? Is this one? So if you're doing like responsive stuff, you can stay within your Blazor and .NET stuff. You don't have to go talk to JavaScript. Chat room is saying B is for bold. Yeah. Oh, okay. You folks are still talking about my B as in bold. Yeah. Thank you. I know I'm dumb. Okay, so you have multiple ways of doing this, but this may be the most, brute force or base way of doing it. And in a way, you can kind of wonder, like, will JavaScript like this work inside of a .NET MAUI app as well? Because, all of your Blazor stuff are being rendered inside of a web view, right? And so you can get the dimensions of just the web view, and if that's all of your screen real estate, you can get it from Blazor. But once you're on .NET MAUI, you can just straight up go ask for that web view or the device dimensions like we did here, because this is going to give you the overall devices dimensions, not just of the web view. But I'm guessing like the Blazor stuff, if we do, it should also work on .NET MAUI. Okay, for your demo, it's fine. I would use Blazor size and not try to write this by hand, but I do want to try this by hand. The simple example will lead you down a rabbit hole. Okay. I do want to see the JavaScript thing, and I do want to check if it's going to work from .NET MAUI in the first place. If you're going to bind it to the live window size, resizable, use Blazor size. Okay, no, I'm not binding it. I'm just wanting to show it first. Okay, so let's see. I'm done with .NET MAUI here. Let's look at the Blazor client project. Okay, what do I have to do? So first thing is create a class service to read the dimensions. Okay, so call it browser service maybe. All right, hold on. So where should I keep this? Yeah, it's a service, sort of. So let's call this browser service, right? And I get a browser service back, client services, that's fine. And this is the using, because I do need a task. Right, JS interop, bring that in, and then that's what I need for the class. Right, and then I need the browser dimension little class here, which I can just provide right here. Okay, so now we have, in my Blazor for web project, I have a browser service which knows how to talk to the IJS runtime. What is the IJS runtime? Is that literally the JavaScript, you know, the hook into the JavaScript engine? I'm guessing. So JS invoke, and then it actually doesn't not have this get dimensions method yet, because that is a JavaScript method which we will have to write. But this browser dimension thing, that's our class, so we can just get the width and height, right? All right, so far so good. Oh no, don't do that. Yeah, I just wanted to save. The current instance of JavaScript Blazor is running in. Yes, okay. Is that different from, well, you're inside of Blazor, but the browser has a separate JavaScript engine that knows how to render JavaScript, but your page doesn't have any JavaScript yet. So does it always, is it always ready to render JavaScript from a Blazor app? I mean, if you did not do this, would you always have this ready to render things in JavaScript if you needed to? I don't know. The web views JavaScript instance. Okay, so when we use this from .NET MAUI, we should be able to tap into the same JavaScript instance, I think, right? We'll see. All right, so I did that. Oh, I have to register this now. Okay. Services, browser service. Oh, where is that at now? Is that in program.cs? Yeah. Oh, and by the way, here's my platform info though. So I don't think you need to do like DI for this, but that's kind of how everything is set up nowadays with Blazor and .NET MAUI. So that's my platform info. So the the concrete implementation of platform info is registered as a DI thing. So where do I do this? Browser services, add Razor pages, add server side. I don't see any of that here. I am guessing because there is no I don't have a startup.cs, do I? No, I think I can do it here, right? You could do it there. One line is saying I can do it there, and I trust one line. Okay. Okay, it doesn't know what that is. Builder dot services. Okay, so we have now said go use that service, right? Startup.cs is 2020. Things change so fast. It's program.cs, which is nice because now it's just Maui program.cs and program.cs. And if you look at the Maui thing, it's actually not that different nowadays. It's the same builder, and all of this gobbledygook is just for the Blazor web view. If you wanted to see like DevTools in here, and I did this, so there's a whole. People get very upset with this, and I understand, or maybe I don't understand the nuances of this. So there's this whole dependency injection controversy over how many things should be singleton versus how many things should be scoped, because singleton is nice when it's just one instance of that service that you want to use all throughout, but if you use a singleton to do like navigation stuff, I think there is a chance that you might have some memory leakage down the road. So just know what you're doing for something as simple as that. I don't think it really matters. But yeah, you have to use the render lifecycle method. What do you mean the render lifecycle? I'm confused. Where is the render lifecycle? I'm a simpleton. Not a singleton, I'm a simpleton. Don't confuse me. I get confused very easily. Okay, program.cs. I have that, right? And he means if you're doing this on init. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So that is all that I should need, right? So I have this, and then adds the JavaScript code somewhere in window dimensions. Host CSHTML. Isn't that also 2020? I don't have a CSHTML. I can write this anywhere, right? Okay. Let's copy that JavaScript because that has the get dimensions thing. Where can I write this? Oh, I also don't. Well, I do have an index.html file. I can write it there, right? So this is my Blazor index.html. Ed is saying just make a JS file. Can't I just write it here? Okay, I will make a JS file. Okay, all right, new file. Web JavaScript file. What should I call it? Window dimensions. And then I have to reference this, right? If you want to be icky. Okay. And do I need to say .js? Oh, so I get nothing. All right. Paste. Script, text JavaScript, window dimensions, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And now I have to reference this thing somewhere in index.html, right? Help me out. Help me out, Ed, because I don't know how to. What do I have to say? In the JS file, remove the tag. What tag? Remove the script tag. Oh, wait a second. Oh, I see. See, I could have just done this in the HTML file, Ed. Okay, is that good? It just has the function. All right. And then in my index.html, what's the syntax for referencing JavaScript? This is so bad. You did not see me type this. I just haven't handwritten this in a long time. I'm sorry. Okay. There we go. Is that all I need? So it's a script reference, right? So not there, not a link. It is, doesn't matter where I loaded this up. I can do this right here. It's not index.js, it is, and I should make it, smaller case, right? So it's JavaScript, feels friendlier. Window dimensions.js, and rename this to, okay, will that do? Case matters. Look, okay, hold on. Look below the Blazor import since I can't type it without getting blocked. Yeah, you can't type that. I think that's it, right? Right? Is that all I need? Yes, as long as you have the file and the code. Yeah, I changed the file name. Yes. Case matters. Window dimensions.js. Okay? And then window dimensions.js just has that. All right. I think we should be good, right? So now we can go into our Razor file, and we have to do a service injection. Okay. All right. Let's now. Oh, so now here's the thing. My index.razor is not in my Blazor project. Because it is now shared, because I don't want this to be happening on .NET MAUI. I just want to see it on my Blazor app first. Because the implementation of platform info is different on my two projects. Fun fact, I didn't need a JS file. So why did you ask me to create a JS file? I could have just dropped it in my index.html, right? Anyways, that's done, but this is a problem because like I don't want to write the Blazor specific code here, because like this stuff is for my Blazor Razor file, but the Razor file is now being shared. Maybe I should write that on the index.html file of my Blazor project itself, which sounds icky, like beyond the div tag, but then that's not going to understand the Blazor side. You already have that in my platform info, exactly. So then I have to have a separate Razor file that is only for Blazor, which was the whole point of not doing it, because I want it shared. Because Blazor and this will do it differently. Okay, how about we do it in the index.razor file and see if my native projects also pick up the window size from the web view, right? Okay, all right. Oh, now we have a problem because the inject thing, right? This service is a Blazor only service. I do not want to have that in my shared thing. You should be doing this via interface here. I do have an interface, but I was thinking the implementation is going to be different, right? But the problem is that browser service, that is a very Blazor web-centric service. Unless I use that from both places and we say, hey, this is bad because like I don't want to have an index.html in this shared www root, right? Because I want the Blazor index file to bootstrap the Blazor project, and then the .NET MAUI want to bootstrap the .NET MAUI project. I do not want to have JavaScript reference. Implementation is different. Yes, Ed, I do have that. See, so this is my interface, right? My shared service, that's my interface. And this get window size is different on .NET MAUI and on Blazor. But there is no Razor file that is just for Blazor, right? So this is my one shared index file. You inject the interface, not the implement. Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I don't have that service, but I do have, hold on, what is it called? Blazor, hold on, give me some IntelliSense, shared UI, dot shared services, okay. And then you folks said inject the platform info. Okay, but like I don't want to write like this code here. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this get dimensions thing, this is only in my Blazor for web. That will go in your implementation. Yes, it is, but I did not your view. Do you understand where I'm getting to this? Like, I don't have a Blazor specific Razor file. Like, it's nothing in my implementation. So the only thing I have that's Blazor specific is this. and then the window dimension is referenced right inside of this. So where would it go? Go to index.razor. You have one class. There is no index.razor ed that is shared though, because like this is for both, or maybe I'm missing something. Can one of you explain? Because if I do the get window size, that is the shared thing. That is what I want to do from my interface standpoint. But then this get window size needs to be something that is implemented in my Blazor app. And where do I do that in my Blazor app? Stay here. Okay. My service. Line 14. Oh no, there's a little bit of a lag. Do you mean line 4? Oh, line 14 here. Okay. This line 14 Blazor running on platform. Get platform name. Yeah, I am doing that. That's for the platform name. Now this is the interface though. I don't have the service. I don't have the exact implementation here. That is the point. Like I'm going off the interface. Looks like you're already injecting platform info in the code behind. Maybe, yeah, I am injecting platform info. Oh, I see what you're saying. It needs to be in the where it's injected. Where is that? No, imports. I remember doing that somewhere. Where am I doing it? Maui program, index.razor. I can save this file. Hold on for a second. Why is it complaining? Oh, I see. Okay, hold on. No, with your service. Pages index.razor. I am in that page. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, but this is, I don't want to inject the service here. I want just the platform info interface. Line 4 is not necessary. Expand. Yeah. So I don't have anything Blazor specific that is a Razor file. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's a shared Razor file. That was the whole point. Go to platform info. I am in platform info. It's the interface. But the actual implementation of this, I do have that specific to the web client, which is this one here. I see. Okay. So you want me to do this inside. Got it. I think. What did I name it? Where is the platform info? We called it get window size. Yay. You folks have shown me the light of the day. I am so out of my elements because I don't know anything. All right, get window size. I know it doesn't return a value. Okay, now can I write this stuff in here? I should be able to, right? So this one is, I don't have a button click. It's gonna call get dimensions. So it's gonna be a method that we will call. You can inject the browser service. Yes. It is already injected here, I think, because this is the implementation for Blazor. But I need to return. Let's do window dimension, return window dimension. So await service, and it should know the service. Jinx it in the constructor. Make it a constructor. Yeah, I'm lost here. You can inject the browser service in the constructor itself. Write me some code in the comments. I don't know what you're talking about. Public platform info. Oh. Okay, so have constructor platform info. Yeah, I can't do tab. Ed, Visual Studio for Mac is not as nice as your thing. Browser service. All right, now it's complaining about async and await, which I understand. So where is my browser service? Add a vacuum field. Yes. Hold on, I got too many things open here. And then Blazor needs to pass in that browser service, right, somewhere. I think that's what the program.cs hookup will do, I'm guessing. All right, so we got that. We do need the thread. And now it's not going to like this string and task thing. Yeah, I think it registered in the DI. Yep. Async. Maybe I need a different method because the window size does need a string. Or maybe it can be a task of the type string. I don't know. Yeah, I think that might be okay. Okay. Oh, sure. What does this return? The dimension? That's an int. Oh, for browsers, it's an int. All right. Okay. I don't need this thing here. All right. So if I'm understanding all that you're saying, so it's that plus the no height. Okay. So what Ed is saying, the interface can be turned into a task string, and if you weren't using an await in the manual implementation, you could return task from result. I see. I see. I see no Java bits though. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do, because like this one has to be an async, because this is an await, right? So then the interface, this needs to be a task of string, right? And then in my, let's forget about the Maui app. Yeah, that's what I did. We'll get back to the Maui implementation in a second. So, okay, is the Blazor implementation good now? Because where did we do the DI for Blazor? So this will automatically inject a browser service for us to use throughout the app, I'm guessing, and that's why the constructor will pick it up. This is so when we ask for a default implementation of the interface, it's going to hand me a browser service, I think, right? And I'm going to grab that as a backend field. Won't that break the native service? It will break the native service. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah. So then we are going to do a task, get window size, and then all of this stuff will work, I hope. Okay, let's see what we broke. The native one is broken for sure. We'll get back to that. But does the shared UI build? Oh no, the inject directory expects an identifier. What? Oh. Wait, why is it expecting? Oh, I don't need that thing anymore? No, I don't, right? Yeah, I don't need that either. Okay, and okay, we're good with the shared UI. Now let's see Blazor. Can you build? Blazor builds too! Yay! Okay. See, it's nice when, you know, Visual Studio cooperates and it knows exactly what you're asking it to build and not build the stuff that it's going to be broken. All right, we are up and running. Not sure why my browser doesn't come up, but that's fine. 5,000. Oof. It's getting very confused on. See, maybe we just didn't wait enough for it to, because it's a task and it's just run once and we are not re-rendering this thing at all. See here, Ed, compared to XAML, I can bind it to a task and I can wait for it to end, while this just renders right away and says, I don't know what you're talking about. Can I refresh? No. Time to test to see if debugging works. No, debugging does not work. Do not ask me to debug. It does not work. Okay, all right, we'll try it. We shall try it. Where do you want me to debug? Let's go into Blazor implementation of my service, which is here. Okay, fine, I'll do that, and I'll do that and see where it's breaking. I'm not used to debugging working. You have to understand, I come from .NET MAUI background. We have not had debugging work for a long time. Can we see platform info for WASM? That is my platform info for WASM. You have to await the task, which you can do in Razor Markup. Bad choice. Wait. Okay. What you're saying is you have to await the task. Oh. Yeah. You can't await it in one lifecycle method. Yeah. So the problem is we are just doing a straight up get window size. We are not awaiting it. But the platform implementation and the protected override async task on after render. Oh. JS may not be available to you yet when you are trying to call get dimensions. No, okay. All right, okay. So what are you saying? Index.razor, create a private string, and then the protected override. Now this is going to be the same index file though I use for MAUI, and you're saying it's fine to do that and the native stuff is going to not care about it, or maybe just the rendering part of it is going to be fine, but then the native thing will still pick up what I want for native. All right, it should be still fine. It won't break the MAUI logic. Okay. So so you're saying do this window dimensions, right? And what else did you folks say? And in the protected override async on after render async. Okay. Does my override thingy work? Yeah, okay. On, is it after? What do we want to do after? After render async. Yeah. I can do an if statement. Yeah. So you're saying if first render. What does it even mean if first render? Window dimensions. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. Oops, sorry. Wait, don't go away. No. I do want that guy in here. Okay, so hang on, folks. I am not a web developer, so you have to explain things to me a little bit here, okay? What are we even doing here? And what deference of a possible null reference? All right, hold on. After render ensures JavaScript is ready. First render prevents an infinite loop. Okay. Okay. So it's called after the first render. So you can do things that need to happen after the first render. Okay, so we need the first render for the JavaScript engine to be ready. Like on the first render, the JavaScript is not available at all. Like why? Because Blazor may render more than once. So every time Blazor renders for the first time, it has no JavaScript because browsers. Okay. Okay. All right. So help me fix jQuery document ready. Yes, okay, I remember that part. It is difficult to do a full explanation in chat, but in short, you're trying to output the task object in the index.razor UI code, so it's printing out the default task to string. But the DOM will not have been. Oh, I see. Okay, all right. No, thank you for trying to explain this in chat. Okay. All right, so with that in place, what am I breaking here? So we are in the shared index.razor file. We have an on after render. Why is it complaining here? Remove the return. I don't need a return? What? And this one is not a... It's not a error, it's a warning. The injected service will never be null. Okay. So this is it? You think? Shall I run it? Okay. See, I'm glad to have Blazor folks with me. And Ed, I should have had you co-host. I was just too lured to do this on OBS today. You hope. I hope. Do I need to do a hard refresh of some type from the information I heard from previous president? Okay. Wait, what? I need to update index.razor. Yeah. Sorry. You don't want me to be doing this here? Yeah. So on index.razor, I need to now register, but it is the same service though, right? I'm in the code behind, yep. This. Index.razor line 14. Yes, and I know, but should I not be? You only get the different runtime error. Could not provide service. Oh, see, Ed, if okay, now we are going to really break the Maui stuff. Okay, I see what you're saying. At underscore window dimensions. Okay, so we are saying we want you to print the window dimensions, but the window dimensions will not be ready until we have hit this once, and it's not the first render. We're going to await for the platform info to give us the window size. I just didn't want to do this in my index.razor. I wish it was like clean as this, but I understand like we need JavaScript to give Blazor that thing. Okay. All right. I should just do like a .NET run for the Blazor project as well and not just try doing this debugging thing. It is now running on localhost 5000. Oh, it didn't fail. I need to call state has changed. Oh no, don't make me do more things. One more reminder that you might need to await. Why does this have to be so difficult, folks? Could do a razor statement to show if Blazor or native is applicable. Yeah, I will need to. Alright, so now I need state has changed. What is state has changed? I'm like doing a whole tutorial from you guys in chat. Okay, what do I need to do now? You could do this all in a service using lazy T, but that's a whole different ball of async. No, I don't want to get into that. State has changed. What is state has changed? It does. It tells me Blazor engine to re-render the current component. Okay. So in the first render we didn't have JavaScript. Now that it has JavaScript, we waited for it, but it is not re-rendering the component, is what you're telling me. Okay. And where do I call state has changed? On after render async? Okay. So this is what your show is named, Ed. Like, this is how much you love this stuff. Okay, so you have to call this every time you need to ask Blazor to re-render that component. Okay, will this work? Do I need anything else? Okay, I see. So this is good info. This is complicated. So in XAML, we can bind to an empty container, empty envelope, and then once that result is done, coming back from an await, the envelope gets filled, and we can, once the envelope gets filled, it re-triggers it's called the iNotify property change. So once the backing field has changed, it knows to automatically re-render the UI. But here you're saying it is skipped to prevent cycling, because we are changing a property that is used in the Blazor markup. Okay. Hope and a dream. When you run into a few endless loops, you soon remember. Okay, looks like you folks have done this. Blazor size handles all of this. Okay, well then you should have told me this to go from the get-go. But I wanted to do JavaScript, so the blame is on me. Okay, all right, so that should be it. The version I posted, await, invoke async, state has changed. If I remember correctly, make sure that you trigger the reader re-render. I said it goes down a rabbit hole. Okay, all right. So let's do a build, and let's do a run. Okay, so this is the rabbit hole you meant. All right, so then I will use Blazor size, and hopefully everything just magically works. Yay! Look at that! Where are my rainbows? No, I'm not seeing my rainbows. Hold on. There you go.
Ooh, hello.
All types of rainbows happen. There you go. I have dimensions. I got rainbows. I got stuff to work. I got more things. Do you want to see? Because I didn't do this for a while now. I have the whole like Stream Deck and other types of setup. Where is all my stuff? I can do a lot of things here. I have chickens too. Chicken dance. There you go. We were into chickens for a while, so I have all of this chicken stuff lined up in my Stream Deck. Okay. So what did we all do? It's telling me the browser, it's telling me a dimension. Now, what might be interesting to see is what did we break in the native project, right? Because we changed the interface. Where was the interface? We changed this to a task, and the native thing is going to break because this is still returning a task. Can chat to do this? What are you asking, Marcus? So if I return I already have this string. Can I just not return it as a part of a thing? So by not using Blazor size, your comparison is apples to oranges. It would be like saying it dimensions from Swift or Java and compare apples to apples. Yeah, okay. All right. So, what does this task from result do? Like it just like I already have a thing, but you're just wrapping it into an envelope and just trying to return that forcibly inside of an envelope. From result. What was it called? Window size. Okay. Makes the compiler happy. That's what it's. I have not had to use this ever. Like it's just forcing something to be an awaitable thing when it's not needed. Okay, I've made the compiler happy. Hopefully. It is equivalent to a JavaScript promise. Do not get me into JavaScript promise. I do not want to write a JavaScript promise ever, because it's complicated and I do not understand what I'm doing. Async and await is syntactical sugar, but it kind of gets you a little bit. Once you get into the state machines, it gets complicated. Like I had, and this is particularly true for like XAML, where we do still have the rendering and like we have the before and after, and it depends. Like it's a daisy chain that you're creating, and if you have your UI that's waiting on a service that waits on an implementation that goes and fetches something from a service or a database, it's a long chain of awaits, but it's all the way up to the UI, so we don't ever have to hopefully have to do this task and result. Sync to async. Yeah, it is sync, and now we are forcing it to be in async. Okay. Does that solve it for native? Because the native stack will still try to render that in index.razor. So I'm very curious as to which one it will work out. So it builds, okay? So when the native stack comes back, so let's just take a look. This index.razor page is the exact same thing that my MAUI app will now try to render. And I think it's going to now use the JavaScript stuff, right? Because this add dimensions thing, we changed that to this get window size, or maybe not, because the platform info, it is going to wait for that get window size, which the concrete implementation of it is going to be, it should be using this, right? Probably. Value task is an either. Oh, I see. I still need to use an if-else. Okay, now here's a good test. If I just run it as is, does my MAUI app pick up the web views JavaScript thingy and the display info from the web view? Shall we try it? Shall we try it? And then we'll do a branch off. Okay, Mac Catalyst. Let's see what blows up. It does not blow up yet. It is. What is this? What? 3440 2160. I think this is the web view kicking in, right? Has to be, because we are literally waiting on JavaScript to give us that window dimension. And so this is the JavaScript window within my Mac Catalyst. Okay, let's see if it's really working. Let's do an iOS build. Yeah, display dimensions. iPad. What does iPad say? Oh, this has been fun because, like, I'm looking at the time. It's almost been 2 hours. Look at that! It works because the web view is smart enough to pick it up. Because this is not the MAUI one, right? This is literally the Blazor web view kicking in and saying, "Here's my dimension." So this is not the dimension of the whole app. It's using the MAUI implementation though. No, it is not using the MAUI implementation when targeting macOS. So even when it's running on Mac though, there is JavaScript because there is web view. Because like to Blazor, Mr. Magoo's point, I don't have it separated off for index.razor or is it smart enough to understand? So here's what it comes down to. So when I'm running this, I don't need this, let's close this. When I am calling this index.razor thing from my Mac or from my iOS, there is, but it's not using the WASM implementation, that's using JavaScript. No, it's not using the... Is it though? Because this window dimensions, here's what it comes down to. Is it... No, I think you're right here, one line, because Mr. Magoo, I don't think we need a different thing for a platform specific thing in our index.razor, because like this is nothing platform specific. It is literally saying go get the window size from the platform. In this instance, the DI is deciding what code to use. Yeah. Okay, you really want me to do breakpoints. My debugging doesn't work very well. I can try. On Maui. Let's try it. Don't blame me if things blow up. So we are now running on Maui and platform info. Let's do that. How about that? And fire. Your Maui program that is injecting the Maui implementation, so that is what gets injected into one Razor. I hope. Because the index.razor did not do anything platform specific. It is working! Look at that, my debugging is working. So now we are in Maui and it's trying to get this stuff. Wait, step over. It is literally .NET MAUI native APIs we are calling. Yay. So if we let it go, 38, 40, 12, 60. Yeah. All right, this is good. This is very good. So let's recap. What did we do? I still want to leave this as my startup. For some reason, Ed, do you know why, like from my web client, I can't just debug and have the browser show up for some reason? Anyways, one line is saying, but you could use the JavaScript approach in Maui as well. I don't know if the window size will give back what you expect. And is already one part of the window instead. Yeah. Seems to be broken on a Mac. Interesting. So if you wanted to use the JavaScript stuff on a Mac, it breaks the web view. Okay. Anyways, so let's see what we did. So we have a shared project now, and all of these components are shared. We haven't done anything on the counter. Let's go away. But on the index, we are using window dimensions, which is actually hooked up in the code behind on the on render async, on after render. So we are waiting on JavaScript to do its thing on Blazor, but it still does the native thing on Maui. Full WASM is WASM with hosted. This is okay. Hold on. Chat room, you're saying, is that a full WASM app? If so, you might get a .serve as your startup. It is the WASM with a hosted ASP.NET. JavaScript will report the browser size if you mix XAML, web view. That's what I thought. So what Ed is saying is, like, if you just depend on the web view to report its size, then you'll only get the web view size that JavaScript is going to report. So if I did not have, I'm not going to do this right now, but if I did not get the Maui implementation, right? So in my Maui project, like if I did not have this injected, would it go back to use the web views? But then it needs a implementation, right? It wouldn't just not naturally grab the Blazor one. Yeah, exactly. So to Ed's point, like if you did like desktop-y things in Maui, then you will not get the dimensions of the whole thing. That's anything outside of the web view you're not going to catch. But for me to use the JavaScript platform info, I don't know exactly how I will do that. I will look around, but right now it's falling back to using the platform info implementation that is inside of Maui. So even though this index.razor knows how to do it for JavaScript, which is already loaded up in my Maui web view, it's not using the JavaScript thing yet. Yeah. So if you did the Blazor implementation, bring that down. Don't just keep it in the Blazor project, have it in the shared project, then it's reused between Maui and Blazor. Yeah, but we have it separated out. Yeah. Okay, this was a good exercise in frustration for me because I didn't understand, but thank you so much for helping, because there is no way I would know how to write this code, and I don't think I understand all of it yet, but I understand what you're saying, that the first render needs to load up the DOM and have JavaScript ready for Blazor. But this is pretty fun. So to recap, what we did was in a single Visual Studio solution, we now have 4 things. This one is not used at all yet because we don't have anything Blazor that's shared between client and WASM. This one is your perfect project for hosting web APIs and other JSON things that you want to throw from the server side, maybe feeding the Maui app, maybe feeding the Blazor app, WASM running on your browser, but then everything else is shared between Blazor and .NET MAUI. So I think these are steps in the right direction, right? We are sharing a lot of code. But this was fun. So thank you so much. Blazor, power to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for helping and helping me struggle through all the pieces. I love you all, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you on the next stream. Okay, take care and be well.